In the studio with Xanne Leo. Xanne, welcome.
Hi, nice to meet you here in the studio, Graham.
It's good to have you here. We're going to venture into an area which I'm not proficient in. Tokens, blockchain, all that stuff. So hopefully you can kind of help us understand from the non-technical perspective, because that's the world that you come from into this world as well. So hopefully you can kind of, unpack that for people who don't understand. Not everybody understands this space. So please sort of don't necessarily assume that everybody here is, has a computer science degree. So we're going to have to understand it from the layman's terms, if that's possible. We're going to talk about Infinitus Token. We're going to talk about your journey to getting here. We're going to talk about, how you got into a technical space from a non-technical area. Maybe we can start at the top and talk about Infinitus Token. Let's put that on the table. What exactly is that?
We are a blockchain-based decentralized application. So it's a project that is focused on helping crypto wallet users store their private keys or password or PIN codes. In fact, you can use it for any kind of alphanumeric data that you would like to store and keep private. So essentially that's what we do. And we are a mobile application, so you can download it on your mobile phone.
Okay, so what does it mean to somebody like myself how would I use something like that on a day-to-day basis? Because you say you can store any kind of data on that. Okay,
so right now our target audience is a very niche and specific segment that is the crypto wallet users. Right. And your question would be like, why? Why is that? And it's because crypto assets, unlike the cash in your bank, you don't have any legal recourse or any recourse if you should lose your password. Right. So unlike a bank account, if you lose your password or your PIN, you can call the customer service. You can reset your PIN easily on the website. You can go walk into the bank and prove who you are with your ID card, and the bank teller will do it for you. Right. Now, in the world of blockchain or crypto, there is no reset button. There is no customer service to call. There is no one to run to. You're just on your own. Yeah. So our application came up because we want to solve this problem that people have. Right. Right.
So it's a trust problem as well, isn't it? It prevents a lot of people getting into this space or, buying cryptocurrencies because of this issue, right? I know you've got it on your website, and maybe you can sort of just flash that up. You did a presentation, and I think it's kind of important. If we can just get that, have a look at that. Maybe we can just, Barrett, if we can have a look at the presentation side. There we go. We're just having a flick through this. And the first slide here, it says it's very easy to lose crypto. Yeah. So talk a little bit about that. Because if I was to read mass media, coverage of cryptocurrency, this is the first thing that we see, isn't it? About some sort of exchange has gone down or somebody's run off with billions or millions. What's going on at the moment? Can you sort of walk us through what the situation is from somebody inside the market? How safe is it? And what's the reality?
Back to what you just mentioned, I don't think it's just really about a trust issue for the users as well. I think at this point, it's pretty geekish. Unless you have a tech background or you really understand cryptography or programming, it's really just hard to get into the space. Why is it easy to lose crypto? Because of just simple human error or human failure. I don't need to memorize a 51 character private key. I can't even remember a 4-number numeric password that's on my phone or 6-digit password, because you just don't remember such stuff, right? Because I don't have one wallet. I don't have one e-wallet. I probably have like 3 e-wallets. I probably operate 4 email accounts, like my work, my personal account. So it's just too demanding. The world is changing. It's just too demanding. So it is easy to lose the crypto, not because there is a deficiency in the technology, because the cryptography is a good technology. Right. It is almost unassailable or infallible. It is the human that fails, not the technology.
We are the weak point in this. So how realistic is that? I mean, how often are people losing stuff, and what happens when they do lose the password or the access to their account?
The people that I've spoken to or that I know, they can't do anything except trial and error. Right. Right. So all you can do is you sit in front of your computer, you just keep trying the different password until you get it. And there is nothing else for them to do. And if you lose it, you lose this password, you basically lose all the coins or tokens, or your Bitcoins or your Ether that is inside this wallet.
Right.
Forever.
Okay. Is there any legal recourse there?
No, not that I know of. Yeah.
Right. So what would be the equivalent if we look at in the retail banking world? If I was to lose my card or my password, there's a bit of a convoluted process, isn't it? But I could get it back legally.
Yes.
I have a right to access that.
Yes.
So what are we talking about here? If I was a user of an exchange or a Bitcoin wallet, crypto wallet, for example, if I was to lose access to that, am I out in the cold? Is there nothing I can do?
Yes, you're out in the cold. It's almost like we're in the 1930s or 20s where, I don't know, have you heard of bearer bonds?
Yeah.
Right, so bearer bonds, bearer asset, bearer, basically anything, cash coupons or checks. This crypto world right now is as primitive as what it was. So I don't really need to know that Graham is Graham. So long as Graham comes up to me with a bond certificate, holding the bond certificate, I'm going to and cash it for him.
Right.
Or I'm going to give him money, I'm going to give him cash. So in this crypto world, it's almost the same. I don't know that Graham is Graham, or I don't need Graham to prove that he is the legal and rightful owner of this particular wallet that has certain amount of Bitcoins inside. He just needs to show up with that wallet. So in this crypto world, the only way that you show up is when you know the private key.
And in many cases, people forget.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to remember it.
Right, and there's been some horror stories, hasn't there, of people who have lost, we're not just talking thousands, they've lost a lot of money on this.
Yeah, so there are like people who mine the coins, and then they throw out the entire hard drive, or they throw out the entire laptop that contains the wallet, the keys, or simply is just forgotten. Yeah.
So is there a lot of money just out there floating around which is unclaimed?
Oh, yes. So you can easily Google this. There are a lot of reports that tell you that there are we don't know if there are so-called loss. Yeah. So there are inactivity. So I can see that, yes, maybe there are certain Bitcoins that is like floating around and it's just not active. So chances are people they might have just lost their key.
So there's no way of turning out because there's no way of sort of going to that Bitcoin or that wallet and understanding the ledger and understanding who owns it, right?
No.
Okay. And that's the flip side of having a decentralized ledger, isn't it? That's the downside of it all, because in a very sort of centralized world, somebody has to take responsibility, and that would be the bank, and they'd say, okay, right, we'll follow up somehow. Okay, so it's a problem. How do you come into this? What is it that you guys do? How do you solve that problem?
So what we do is we are a complement product. So we are like your shoelaces for your shoe. We're a complement product. We are like an accessory to your wallet, to anyone who has a wallet. We're not trying to replace a human behavior, because I think most people are still going to store their private keys on pen and paper, on a notebook. That's what I do.
Is that how they do in this day and age?
Yes, I write it down on my notebook.
Wow.
I fold it on a piece of paper. I put it inside my drawer. That is provided that it doesn't get lost miraculously. I think people are still going to store it on the USB thumb drive. They're still going to store it on Excel spreadsheet or some Word document or on their mobile phone somewhere. Right. So Infinitus is not here to, it's not a substitute product. We're not here to replace them. We're just here to complement and say that, hey, I'm giving you another alternative. And more importantly, we are using the blockchain technology to solve the blockchain problem. Because like you see, all these other existing alternatives or existing solutions that people are using are traditional pen and paper solution. So we say we want to come up with a blockchain solution for a blockchain problem, using the blockchain to tackle the problem that he has created.
Right. And what is that? So how does that work? It's not pen and paper. It's not a pen and paper mindset approach to it. How do you tackle this problem?
Okay, so there's a lot of details on the white paper. So in a nutshell, I'm just going to give you
Please.
like the quick and dirty of it. It happens on your phone. It's an application that you can download. It has 3 steps. All you need to do is write down the number of days that you would be inactive on the app. So for example, you can key in things like 7 days, maybe 30 days, maybe 90 days. So if the application that's on your phone tracks that you are not active, it will deem that you are cyberly dead or you're just not available. And then it will send the package, the information package, your key, your data, your anything that you stored to an email address that you have provided for me. Okay, so this email address, it could be your email address, it could be another email address, it could be your mother's email address, it could be a third party. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. So 3 steps. You key in your inactivity period, the number of days, you give me your email, and then you key in your private data.
Right.
You click submit, and then the magic happens on the blockchain. So the magic is, what it does with your data is that it goes through an atomizer engine. It's like a shredder. So what it does is it encrypts your data. It fragments it. It basically just slices. Just imagine that it goes through a paper shredder. It shreds the information into 100 or 1,000 pieces, and then it distributes it across the decentralized network nodes across our community. So for example, in this building, there's like 100 people with 100 Android phones that has got the Infinitus app on it. It will be shredded, and each one of them will be holding a tiny piece of your data inside their phone.
Right.
Yeah, so that's how we kind of decentralize the storage, making it, I want to say 100% unhackable, but it's extremely difficult to, basically if you need to hack, you basically just need to hack 1,000 or like 10,000 of these phones just to get back the data, right? Yeah, and when the application is activated, the smart contracts just scramble back this 1,000 pieces and send the data package to your email.
Right. Okay.
That's how it works.
So let me unpack that a little bit. If I'm going to use this app, I'm going to key in my trigger inactivity period, which is 7 days, 30 days, or 90 days. So if I haven't used my wallet for 30 days, I can assume that, or I'm telling your app that means I haven't got access to it, or something unusual in my behavior. Is that right?
Has happened to you.
Okay.
Or you have forgotten something.
Right. Yeah. So what happens? Obviously, this is an issue if, for example, I just don't use it for 30 days and then all that data gets released. Does that create an issue at all, or?
It shouldn't. Yeah, because you are the one who decides how long to set it. So if you're someone who forgets pretty easily, you want to have a shorter day, like 7. Usually we recommend anything from 30 days to 90 days. And the application runs as a backend application. So you don't have to actively open up the app or go in and take action. Yeah, so the inactivity, it happens when you off your phone, or you just delete the app totally. Yeah, so it is really, really inactive.
Right, gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so that's how it works. You say it's aimed at people who are into this scene
right now.
Is that because you're sort of trying to identify who your fans are and sort of build out from that beachhead? What's the plan? Does this apply to my grandma? Does that is it something that she would use in the future?
Yeah, we get that asked a lot about our technology and application. So like you see, right, Graham, there is no restriction to store any form of data so long as it's alphanumeric. In fact, we can even open up our storage for you to store like photo files or video files. Essentially, we can do that, but we are not going there yet. And we don't see a need to do that because there are a lot of other applications that is focused on that. I would just say that the key of the entire solution rests on the basis that it has to be, first of all, a piece of information that you would like someone else to know, right? But you do not want that someone else to know today,
right? Okay.
Like you probably don't want to tell your wife that you bought a lot of Bitcoins, right?
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, but I would want my wife to know that I have all these Bitcoins if something happens to me.
Right.
You see, so unlike in the regular world where we live in, your wife can walk to the bank, or she can just call up the lawyer office and say, "Hi, I'm Graham's wife. I demand that you release all the money to me because I'm the legal spouse." In this case, no, she can't do that, even if she knows that you have all the Bitcoins in the world. Right. So that element must always be there. You have to have a piece of information that you want to pass it to someone else, or at a later date, or at a certain or with certain event trigger. Then the solution would make a lot of sense.
Okay. So you come from the world of finance as well, wealth management as well, and my background many years ago, I was in financial planning, and I'm just interested in this conversation. Is there any sort of thought, or there's any thought put to the fact that there's a lot of Bitcoin owners out there, and at some point they're going to die? You know, and the longer we go on, the more of them are going to die. What happens then? Does this come into play here? Because you're talking about, you know, an event in which they won't be able to access their wallets, and then that has to get passed on to somebody. How does that work? Does that come into play with Infinitus Token?
Yes, there's a good place to talk about a little bit of history of how we actually started. So I come from the financial planning and then the financial service industry. So we deal a lot with wealth transfer or generation wealth, or cross-jurisdiction, cross-border assets transfer. These questions typically is something to think about when you don't have to think about it. Unfortunately, in the crypto world right now, most of these demographics, they are younger people. I don't think they think that they are going to go anywhere, because we all believe that we live forever when we are like in our 20s. I just think that we are actually exploring somewhere along the line of doing a smart will, or collaborating with an insurance company. We are actually talking to an Indonesian party. They may want to use one of our solution as one of the components for their backend process for their users. They have a community of 22 million users. We may white label it, but we're just still talking. So they have a whole chain of business process, and Infinitus is just going to fit like into one component. We can't solve like all of it, so we can solve the transfer of private and information and sensitive data. That's what we do.
Because I think about this, is that you're right, the demographic of people who own cryptocurrency generally skews on the younger side, but over time they're going to get older, and more people
are coming in
of an older age. And they're the only ones who know that they have these wallets, and it's just going to create an interesting problem, isn't it? Is that you're going to see a lot in time of people who are dying out and leaving this money floating around in the ether, and nobody knows about it. You know, wives won't know about it, husbands won't know about it, families won't know about it. You're talking about wealth transfer. Well, they might not even know that mom or dad had several million stuffed away in a Bitcoin wallet somewhere. That's a real challenge, isn't it?
So, and just to let you know, Graham, we tend not to go into the area of death. It's like a little bit tricky and tabooish in Asia. We just have to talk about people forgetting. And that is enough to get the crowd roaring, because everyone relates to that, and everyone understands the pain of forgetting your password and then forgetting your keys, right? So
we're terrible.
So right now it's just focused on, you know, simple human failure.
Okay, great. And how did all this start? So we were talking a little bit off air, Xanne, that you're not a technical person by background. I mean, you're not a coder. You're not the kind of person that can write algorithms by nature. That's not your background. You come from the world of finance, and there was, services as well. How did you get into this? Can you tell us about the genesis of Infinitus Token?
Okay, so the idea originally came to me and Eric, Mr. Eric Song. He's my co-founder. we were just because there was just an era where ICOs were like really hot. Everyone was talking about blockchain, ICOs, tokens. So we just thought that like maybe we should start something on our own. Maybe we should have a ICO of ICO or something like that, which is a completely very, very lousy and primitive and idea, which we are thankful that didn't take off. And we started talking to our friends. And then we realized that, hey, there are so many people that we know that forgot about their private keys or their codes or their passwords to their wallets. And we're not talking about like huge assets, okay? We're talking like people having 0.3 Bitcoin. It's still a lot of money, right? Right? Or like things like 2 Bitcoins. And they just live with it. That means they just forget it. There's nothing they can do with it, and they move on. They live with it. So we started thinking, hey, why don't we just do a centralized solution that can help people store their password? Because I'm gonna ask somebody, like Graham, I'm gonna ask you, would you store your private key to your 10 million Bitcoins with me? You probably wouldn't.
I'd think twice.
All right.
Yeah.
So we came up with this idea, and then we were toying with it, and we started talking to the blockchain programmers to see if it actually works. And we were surprised it actually works. They were saying, okay, that may actually work. It started out as a novel idea, so we were thrilled by the novelty of it. But as we moved deeper and deeper, and we started exploring the different chains, the distributed hash table, the atomizer, and the smart contract abilities, we realized that we can put different components of the technology that's available right now, existing, together, and we can create a solution.
Right. So do you think you bring something to the table that isn't in the world of blockchain because you don't come from the technical background? Did you see something that wasn't being talked about? Because you were talking about something that's a centralized solution, right? And that may be in the world of decentralized ledgers, people might not be thinking in those terms. Do you see yourself thinking differently to the other people out there in terms of?
Not really. No. But one thing that I think that maybe put Infinitus really out there was in the space of decentralized app. And I would say that 2018 is really the year of the apps. Is that I think we had a very special position because a lot of the apps right now out there in the market are game related. They are focused heavily on games or gaming. You
mean mobile apps generally?
No, the apps decentralized, blockchain based. Yeah. Gotcha. So, for example, like your CryptoKitties. Awesome, right? It's an awesome application. So most of this application that you find in the marketplace right now are games or game based. Right. So we are like one of, I wouldn't say rare, but we are one of the niche, maybe 10 or 15% of the D apps that actually has a functional purpose instead of games. There's nothing wrong with games. It's just that I think a lot of people are not developing it. You see a lot of very deep tech or heavy weighted tech companies that are building things like chains. Okay, like infrastructure, protocols, programs, platforms. So moving into the DApps world is like right now, if I can talk in our language today, is that everyone is trying to build an iOS or Android. Yeah. Because if I'm iOS or Android, everybody will be on it, right? So that's gonna be big time money for me. So it takes a while for that evolution to come to a place where there is enough support, talents, expertise, market, of course, funding for developments into that streams into the consumer space, the consumer tech space, where then you have things like your application like Uber, Airbnb, Grab, a Deliveroo. So these are the second layer of application that is more focused on your consumer. But for us, we just went right there. That is also because I don't come from a tech background, so I am not like building deep tech. I am very focused on consumer-centric tech application. Yeah.
You spotted a problem. You're trying to solve an everyday problem that people have, rather than trying to change the world and build this platform, iOS, like you said.
If I could, I definitely would build like EOS or something, but that's not our expertise. But I believe that in our arena of play, there will be a lot of different applications that's coming up and different talents looking to solve different problems using the blockchain technology. So we are just one of the first.
Great. Excellent. Let's talk about your business itself. How old are you as a company?
The company started 2017 in September.
Right.
It took us a while to get our tech rolling and started the white paper. We finalized almost most of our tech back end and the white paper by maybe I would say February.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first 6 months you were just finalizing all your tech and white paper.
The first 6 months was just a lot of just research. Like we went out on the street, we talked to people, we went online, we see what people are talking about, the chatter, the forums, the trading activities. And Graham, you must remember when we started, it was a crazy boomtown Charlie era of Bitcoin.
More than now.
Yeah, it just ran over the moon. Right, that closing close to $20,000 US on the 19th of December 2017. So when we started, it was all about Bitcoin.
Yeah,
nobody was talking about blockchain or the technology or the apps. All these are non-existent or not important. And then slowly the market started to evolve, and we're talking about the tech. We're talking about application. We're talking about using it for regular folks. So there is a bit of progression from how we started to now. Although definitely it's a very short time, Yeah. Yeah. So
things move fast in a short time in the world. Yeah.
So in the blockchain crypto world, we laugh about it a lot. It's like 1 week in crypto is like probably 2 years in the real world.
Okay, very much so. So you've been going for, let me just work this out. So, coming up to a year, I suppose 10 months, 11 months coming up. So, okay, excellent. How have you funded it up until now? Have you privately funded it? Have you raised investment? What was you don't have to go into details of the actual rounds or anything, but how was it funded up to that point? Because it's not cheap building this technology, is it?
So we have our initial backer. It's from a family office that is based in New York and Tel Aviv. We have our private fundraising rounds. Is almost in completion right now. The details are actually on my website, so you can take a look at it. Right now, we are going to focus to launch our ICO and then go for the crowd sale round. And then after that, we will probably have the funds to develop a lot of back-end tech that I was telling you about.
Yeah. So, okay. So you've published this on your website.
Yes.
You've done 2 seed rounds, top-up rounds.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe in the ICO, unlike like other startup, we don't really have a seed or angel round per se. So we have like a private round, and then now we are in a ICO stage. Yeah. So we are doing our ICO through our mobile application as well. So people who also want to participate in buying our tokens or participating in this, you can go and download our mobile app and you can buy the tokens via crypto currency or your credit card. So,
okay. So when you go into an ICO, and I've never done an ICO before, but I've seen people come and go on the ICO scene. So just help me understand, do you go in with a specific fundraise target? How does it work? Do you say we're going to raise this much as you would, for example, with an IPO? How does it work? Do you have a target in mind? Can you share with what you know?
Oh, yes. You definitely go in with a target. The target is also published. It will also be published on our website and white paper. Our ICO target is 30 million tokens that is meant for sale. In translation to Ether, that is pegged to our USD value, which is at 0.24 cents per token. It would right now be about 15,000 Ether. That is like the amount that we state to raise. Okay. And this information are all public. So, and if in the event that we don't, some ICOs may choose to have a refund. They call off the entire project. For us, we are a little bit different because our tech team is based in Hong Kong, and we have already started. We have already built and published our app. We are going to go ahead with the application and the project, regardless of the amount that we raise through the ICO. Because our soft cap, I can't really tell you the amount, but we are almost completed with the soft cap.
Okay. Yeah. So you say 30 million tokens. Yes. The rough financial value was about 5 or 6 million, was that right?
7.2.
Million US. Okay.
US, yeah.
7.2 million US. And what would that be to fund? Is that to fund growth, to scale? You say you have the product, so what is that for?
I would say that 50 to 60% will be used for marketing because again, we are not a platform, or we are not protocols and infrastructure where we do like or B2B or platform developers. We are in the consumer space. Yeah. So a lot of money will be spent on educating our users, targeting the crypto wallet users, building the database, and just having let people have a go with the mobile app. So our mobile app, each of our mobile app comes with one free Infinitus token that's inbuilt, so that anyone that downloads it, you can just have a trial and have a go with it without having to buy the token and use it and try to use it.
Sure. So where does the growth come with all of this? Is it come from, like you say, there's existing core of users that you have and, monetizing those more? Or is it to come from like a geographic growth, or is it more mass market? Where do you think the growth will come for an Infinitus token and that application in your mobile app?
Okay, so originally we because we are focused on a niche market, I would say like crypto wallets user. So that was what we want to do originally, and then we found that the demographics there are sub demographics within this niche category. So there are desktop users, wallet users, there are core wallet users, hardware wallet users like Trezor, Ledger, and then there are those that use mobile wallets, right? So in this market, mobile wallet users are the highest ranking, or there are more mobile wallet users simply because it's easy to use. Yeah. Right? Anyone with a smartphone can just download it, and then you can have voila, you can have a crypto wallet immediately. So we wanted to focus on the mobile wallet users demographics, or this segment of the market. That is the reason why we have switched from doing a web platform to a mobile platform right now. The expansion of our growth strategy, we would actually be focused on geographic growth. Right. So we have done our rounds of private rounds of seminars, education, as well as fundraising in Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, Hong Kong, New York, where we won an award. I just want to tell you that. In London, recently, I just came back like 2 weeks ago. Tel Aviv, I think I said that already. Our next region or jurisdiction that we are going, that is set out, we will be going to Korea, Thailand, Vietnam, and Europe. Right. Yeah.
Pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, the reason why we are going to go into Europe is because we have two European advisors. They were with me in the London FinTech Week. One is from Spain and one is from Germany. The one that's from Spain will be really focused in, of course, the Spanish market and the Latin America market, simply because of language. Yeah. So everyone speaks Spanish. So we will grow our niche market of crypto wallet users, but we will expand to reach out to a global network. Yeah. Excellent.
It's exciting times. How many people are you right now?
Not big. We're probably 16 right now.
16, based in Singapore? Or
based in Singapore, based in Hong Kong, based in Spain, based in Berlin, based in Madrid and Berlin and Tel Aviv. Yeah. So that's the 5 places that
you're developers in Hong Kong, you said all the products made in Hong Kong.
Yeah, the tech.
What have you got going on in Europe? Are they more tech people?
Strategy and marketing. And China as well. So we just onboarded our Germany and China market advisors. They are our advisors, because every time we go into a new country, we need local expertise. Yeah, exactly. It's almost impossible for us to move. Agreed. We don't know the culture, the way it works, the marketing. So we always will need to partner with a local partner. And then that's how we will start to do the marketing and promotion for our mobile application. Right. Of course, with the focus on the crypto community. Eventually, we want to grow it.
Yeah, absolutely. So growing your team is key to your growth globally in all these different markets. How do you get the right people? What kind of people are you looking for in your team? I mean, putting a call out there really, because people listen to this podcast, they watch the video and so on. You know, I imagine there's a lot of people in the crypto space right now, but you must be looking for a particular kind of people for your team rather than just people who use and know crypto well. What is it that you're looking for?
I think we just can't get enough of tech expertise, especially in the blockchain space, and they are all in Beijing or Russia. So they're too expensive for us to hire them in Singapore. So we can't get enough of blockchain tech people, programmers, developers. At the same time, for us, I'm constantly looking for market advisors to grow, right? So if anyone can tell me, hey, you know, I can bring you into Taiwan, Cambodia, Myanmar, Indonesia, we are always very happy to talk to marketing partners.
Yeah, what would those people be? Were there people that obviously they understand the market, but what kind of background, what kind of capacity, what kind of connections would you be looking for those people?
Okay, so maybe the guys that I've been working with, like in Korea and Thailand, they come from a tech background, usually doing marketing and promotion for apps, for mobile apps. So they are digital marketing companies. They are tech companies that have a network or community of followers. So usually these people will work very well with us because they have the right crowd and they know exactly what they're doing. Yeah,
and they're a good bridge as well into these markets, isn't it? They can communicate between different worlds. And okay, so and why would people want to work for you? What is it that you offer as a culture and as a company and as your vision and so on? What's great about working for you guys?
I never got asked that question.
What do you think? I mean, there's so many people in the blockchain space. I mean, crypto, blockchain, they're so they can go and do their own things. Why would they want to get on board with a company that's growing like you? What do you think that offers them?
Well, I guess first of all, that it must be a product, it must be a solution that they would believe in or they will want to use themselves. And secondly, I'm just gonna tell you a really a very cliche thing that I think I have a very awesome team and we're just really nice people to work with. So I think the culture, the company culture is really important. So we're a young team and probably fun. And we travel around the world. Come and join us if you want. Yeah,
sounds great. I mean, all those things check the boxes, right? I think as well, you know, Xanne, you're not to undersell your background as well, that you don't necessarily come from a technical background. So that offers quite a lot. And I think probably a lot of the solutions or a lot of the apps out there in the world of blockchain are technical apps developed by technical people for technical people. However, you're sort of coming in from a different angle. And I think that may offer something to somebody who's saying, actually, I see a lot of technology going on here, but I want something real, something that solves a real world problem. And in some way, you're going quite far to do that. So I think that's a real selling point for people who may be thinking about looking out there, you know, who can I join? What kind of team can I be part of?
Interestingly, just because of what you said, there's someone who made a comment like that in London about our tech, is that he said he has seen a lot of blockchain applications. They are a solution looking for a problem to solve. Well, no, we're just solving a problem that's just out there, right? We're not trying too hard to create a problem to solve.
Excellent. Well, Xanne, it's been a real pleasure having you in the show today and in the studio. And thanks for sharing your journey with us. And we wish you all the best. Hopefully everything works out well for you. And it sounds like you've got a big challenge in front of you. A lot of travel. And building a team as well. Sounds exciting. So how can people make contact with you? Because I'm sure, you know, whether they are potential partners, the technologists who have technology that complements you, or the market advisors, or those technologists, you know, who exist in these different markets who want to be part of something, what's the best way to reach out?
Reach out to us by email. You can find us on our website, infinitus.token.io. You can find us on Telegram. You can find us on Twitter. We have people that will respond. The best way is, of course, email.
Excellent. Xanne Leo, everybody, here in the Asia Tech Podcast studio from Infinitus Token. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Graham.